Hi there, Chad here from Chibi AI. In this video, I want to give you a behind the scenes look at creating content for X using Chibi. And this is, of course, just one way of doing it. And I just want to show you because it'll take advantage of several of the features that are available inside of Chibi that I think you might find interesting. If you're in the AI space, then some of this stuff will look really cool to you. If you're a content creator or if you're a business owner who knows that you need to create content, but maybe you just kind of really dread doing it, I feel you. I get it. You'd rather focus on other things, of course. We all would. And this will help you see how Chibi as a tool can help you get that stuff done in a relatively easier way than maybe trying to brainstorm everything on your own and write everything on your own. There's more than that goes into this content than just getting AI to generate the content, right? It's like you've probably figured this out. If you tried to go to something like ChatGPT or whatever, you're probably experiencing things where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm getting some content, but it doesn't really sound like me. It doesn't really fit my business. It doesn't really, you have to do a lot, in order to get what you really want from it. So I'm just going to show you something here really quick. I'm going to go into this workspace. I just call it my Chibi AI stuff workspace. A workspace is just where I have a collection of documents that I'm using to write stuff in. All right, so it's a folder basically that lets me organize my content. I have a document here that's called the Chibi AI Canvas. You'll see why I call it that here in just a second. So this is what a document looks like in Chibi. On the left, we got our side tools over here. Typical sort of title at the top. Up here we can navigate backwards. This is our breadcrumbs, so to speak. So this is the workspace I can go back to, or I can go all the way back to the dashboard. Along the right here we have our edge tools. This gives us access to all kinds of really cool tools. I'm not going to go through all those in this video. You can look back through our videos that we're starting to post now since this launch and read up or go to our help center to read up on this. If you do decide to join Chibi, we also have a really good onboarding flow where we train you on how to get started in Chibi. And then when you come through all these tools, the first time you visit them, there will be a little video there to help you learn more about it. So we do a really good job of helping you get started inside of Chibi too. So this is a behind the scenes look at creating content for X. And so what I want to do is just sort of put myself in the shoes of someone who maybe you just don't know what you want to post yet, right? Maybe you need some content ideas. And so what I'm going to do is first, we should probably create a role that's going to sound like us, right? So something that's going to write or be a member of our team who's going to take care of writing our X content or maybe even brainstorming it with us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the role composer. So I'm going to use this is a tool that will help us create roles because I don't really want to write out the entire role description myself. So what I'm going to do is I got some text here. I'm just going to copy it in so I save you from watching me type all this stuff in. And I'm just going to put it right here. It says an expert X copywriter who understands engagement and growth and helps write content that succeeds on X. And this is basically just where I get a chance to just put a description of what it is that I want out of a role. And I'll hit compose here. And so Chibi's going to go out. He's going to talk to the AI. He's going to come up with some questions to help us sort of flesh out what we want to do in this role. And so we got what specific areas of copywriting. Let's go ahead and actually just click this to open all of them up. Now you'll notice that we got these questions, but they're also pre-answered. This is Chibi trying to kind of preemptively answer things for you to kind of help you stay in the flow and work more quickly. If these answers aren't what you want, then go ahead and change them. So we got persuasive sales copy, email marketing campaigns, social media optimization. Okay, these are all kind of good things. Specific areas of copywriting. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and close that one. Who is the primary target? B2B companies and brands. Okay, no. Let's say that who would our primary audience be? So maybe let's change this up. And we're going to say content creators who are interested in using AI for to help create content, but are afraid of losing their voice. They want authentic content that is not totally AI generated. And I bring that up because this is exactly our philosophy here at Chibi. We think that you want AI to help you write, and you don't need AI to generate. If it was a perfect world and AI could just read your brain and generate exactly what you were thinking, bingo, right? That would be awesome. But if you've tried things in the past with using AI to help write, is tools out there that try to do one-click article generation, you just kind of end up with a pretty generic article, right? Because you have no influence over what it is that's being created. And so at Chibi, our goal is to do things like giving you the opportunity to create these roles and stuff. And so these roles will act as a way to give you some influence over how the AI writes. And you'll see that here in just a moment. But I wanted to kind of say that because it's important to us that you understand that we're on team human and we want AI to help us just do better. That might be through ideas, serendipity, things that we didn't know were going to happen that get created for us that might actually spark ideas for us and stuff like that. But also to help us create some of that text really fast that we can then edit down to what we want. That helps us work faster and lets us focus on other things. Anyway, off my soapbox. We got that answered now, and then we got what key performance indicators does the copywriter focus on? Click-through rates. Okay, it's pretty standard sort of stuff for a copywriter to measure, maybe. All right, let's go ahead and let that be, and we're going to click Finish Role here. And so Chibi's going to take advantage of all that information that we gave him, plus the main request, and he's going to come out with this. It's a role that is essentially, it's like a persona that this thing is taking on. So whenever you use this role, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment, the AI is taking on this sort of persona to work from. So it says you're a skilled copywriter with a talent for crafting authentic, engaging content that resonates with creators. Your task is to develop compelling copy that helps content creators leverage AI tools while maintaining their unique voice. All right, cool. Tells it how to write, and we're going to have some emphasis on certain things and all that kind of down here. So before I just move on, the important thing here is that you can create roles manually. You can type in whatever you want here, right? The reason for the role composer is that it allows me to kind of get a guided approach to create the role. Maybe I don't know exactly every phrase and sentence that I want to put into a role. And by using the role composer, we get to let AI help us create this role. So I do advise that if you should go through this with a little bit more of your own sort of thoughts. If you want it to be a copywriter that writes in certain ways, in certain tone and style, and that kind of stuff, just provide those instructions here, and change this up to what fits your needs precisely. I'm going to go ahead and roll that up and just open up these AI controls. Let me just reduce these down here a little bit, and I'll leave that the same. I'll move this up from the default settings. This is just controls that you have over AI that if you feel like it's not following your instructions well enough, you can lower temperature. If you feel like it's being too creative and allowing just some weird words or things in that, that's where you might lower the temperature. If you want to try and inspire a little bit more serendipity and some strange behaviors, you can raise the temperature even more. That sort of stuff. If you need more information on that, you can hover over each of these and it'll tell you what each setting does. But for now, let's just move on. I'm going to hit save up here, and I'm going to make this role active. So this is our content catalyst role. By making it active, that means that this document is using this role by default for tasks, and you'll see that in just a second here. So next tool I want to show you is Ask Chibs. Now, Ask Chibs is a really cool tool that we built to help you create content if you don't want to become like a prompt engineer. I don't know if you've heard that term before, but it's being thrown around, the whole prompt engineer thing, where you need to learn how to speak to AI, so to speak, right? It's like a skill where you know how AI works to a certain degree, and you kind of write things in a certain way that makes the AI produce a really great result versus what you might achieve if you wrote not really good prompt, right? And so high skilled prompt engineers can get really great results from an AI model. And the problem is that not everybody wants to become a prompt engineer, right? You don't want to have prompt wizard skills in order to achieve your goals. And so we created Ask Chiebs as a tool to help. It does the work of becoming that prompt engineer for you behind the scenes, and also a nice little flow to make sure that you're providing the proper context, which is the information that the AI needs to write according to what you really want from it. And so this is how you can achieve some really good results without really having to go through that whole process of learning prompt engineering. So we have our role now, and we told our role to be an ex-copywriter with all these skills. Now we're going to use Ask Chiebs to brainstorm some ideas that I want to post onto X. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy some stuff in here so that you don't have to watch me type it. I need help programming some content ideas to post to X. That's it. Just sort of regular everyday language. I'm not speaking special to a prompt or to create a prompt that's just for AI to understand. I just need help. And so I hit Ask Chiebs. Now what he's doing is he's doing something similar like we saw in the role composer. He's generating some of the stuff behind the scenes to make this work. He's going to ask some questions. And what specific platform X? Okay, so here we go. This is something where we just discovered that maybe it doesn't know that X, the particular models that are being used, don't necessarily know that we're talking about X, the platform that was formerly Twitter. So let's go back and start over, and let's put this in here, posting to X, formerly Twitter. And maybe this will entice the AI to understand what we're talking about. And so this is a good thing that it came up, because one of the things you might start to find is that if you're trying to do things with AI that was never trained in its data set while it was being trained by the AI provider, that you might need to show a little bit of, or add a little bit of extra information in order to really kind of tip the scales towards your favor so that the AI understands what you're really trying to get. And this example shows that. This actually comes up quite a bit with the AI space. So if you're trying to use X, like it probably thought I meant, anonymous, like something, right? Instead of X, the platform. So let's go ahead and open this up here. What specific themes or topics are you interested in exploring? I like the productivity tips, so we'll keep productivity tips here. And let's change this to productivity tips and AI AI driven content. Driven, let's put an N on there. And maybe inspiration for inspiration for content ideas. What strategies have you previously used? Polls, interactive threads. Yep, tried some of those. Which formats prefer for posts? Let's go ahead and just take this one out, because we know that we're trying to go for text, right? And we don't really necessarily want posts. So let's go ahead and remove this. I'm going to use this plus questions button right here, but I'll go ahead and lower this first. And what this does is it asks Chibi to go out and get some more questions that are related to this and see if we can give it some more context to work with. What types of visual content? Okay. How can you leverage? Okay, that's fine. Yep. Okay, so those are good, but I don't really want to have it focus so much on that. So let's take that away. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and hit right here. And what this does is now it's taking advantage of our role, and it's going to create some content ideas tailored for posting on X, formerly Twitter. Productivity hacks for creators. Description. Share some quick tips on maximizing productivity. Yeah, okay. That's pretty good stuff. AI tools you can't live without. Create a thread. Yeah, okay. Behind the scenes content creation. Yes. It's actually kind of what I'm doing right now in a sense, because you might even be watching this video on X. Weekly content challenge, inspirational quotes, AI versus human creativity debate. This is all good stuff. Now I want to show you something else that's interesting here. So I'm just going to click on my role, and I'm going to click on this and change the model to Claude 3.5, because previously we used GPT-4o Mini, and I'm going to go back to Ask Chiebs. Like all I did was change the model for my role. I'm going to come down here. I'm just going to put a little context cutoff. Basically that means that if for whatever reason there was going to be some content used above this point in the document, it would no longer be used. It would stop here. So I'm going to leave that there, and I'm just going to hit write on Ask Cheebs again. But this time, instead of GPT-4o Mini using GPT-4o Mini model to write that content, now we're using Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which is a far more powerful model capable of things. But I don't like to excuse me, I don't like to refer to models as one's better than the other, because they all kind of have a different vibe, and it might just depend on what it is that you're trying to create. But that vibe might be better for you if it, maybe GPT-4o Mini does vibe with you better. Claude 3.5 might vibe for something else better. But the magic of Chibi is that we're not trapped into one model. You can go ahead and add a plethora of models. In fact, if we go here to our models, you can see these are the models that I have currently installed. If I hit new model, I can see a long list of models that are available for us to choose from. We got some from Mistral, Google, Perplexity models, different Meta Llama models, just a whole ton of things out there. And so if you have a need for a specific type of content, some of these models are very good for like not safe for work content. If you write something where some of the more big name brand models will moderate you or block you or prevent you from writing about certain things, there are quite a few open source models out there that still can help you achieve that type of content writing. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily you write about something that's a bad topic or something, but a lot of, especially fiction writers who are writing about maybe crime scenes in their novel and stuff, can often run into problems where the model just doesn't want to participate anymore because it thinks that you're writing about, violence or something, when you're just writing a fiction story that does contain violence, but it's not like it's a real life thing that you're trying to write about or anything. And so you might need to use a specific model, and Chibi allows you to do that. So it's one of the really great things about how we work. We're not trying to impose any kind of restrictions or anything like that. Okay, so we've got different ideas, creator productivity hacks and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. So now we've got this list of things, and maybe we want to try to create something. So we got productivity hacks for creators. So let's go ahead and we'll reset Ask Cheebs because we want to use it again. So we're going to say help. Let's just say write an X post. Let's see if it gets what X is this time. About, and let's just cheat here a little bit. Engagement strategy. All right, let's take this about productivity hacks for creators, and we'll add using an AI tool such as Chibi. And we'll just add this in here for some extra context, and let's run Ask Cheebs. Now here, it's going to be a more of a goal for us to write content, right? And so notice that I didn't have to change to a different tool or anything like that. We're just going to be getting different types of results from Ask Cheebs. And see what kind of posts. Professional engaging, okay, 300 words for concise delivery. I am an what do you call it, blue check mark account or whatever, so I am able to post more. Content creators, okay, that's fine. That's fine. So let's go here and let's hit write, and we'll get our content up here. This time it's still being written by Claude. There we go. Content creators boost your productivity with these quick hacks, leveraging blueprints. Okay. All right, so this leads me to the next thing that I want to talk about. Now, obviously, this is just the AI adding in some extra stuff, but there's something interesting happening here, right? It says content creators boost your productivity with these quick hacks. Use Chibi AI's actions to automate repetitive tasks. Super true. Actions are a really powerful way for you to package up some of your more complex steps that you might take to create this content. Like, in fact, what we're doing right now here in Ask Cheebs, we could turn that into an action and get this all done in essentially one click. And it's super powerful, really cool. a bit of an advanced feature inside of Chibi, but once you figure them out and you learn how to create these actions, they are awesome. They become repetitive. They become reusable tools that you can just use in a click to create stuff. It's really awesome. And we do have videos on that as well if you want to take a peek, especially in the Help Center, but also here on YouTube. Down below, somewhere in our channel, you can, a couple of videos back, we have one that's about actions. Create custom roles. You just saw that, and creating a custom role is our way of controlling how it writes. And then blueprints are something that I didn't discuss, and I'm not going to discuss them in this video too much. I will say that blueprints are one of our innovations in this market that gives you some really unprecedented levels of control over the results that are written by AI. And so in a future video, I will definitely be going into blueprints with a lot more detail. We do have a different video on our channel that is introducing blueprints to a small degree. You can check that out. Probably have that linked up in the description as well. But the thing that I wanted to bring up the most here is that it knows about actions and it knows about roles in blueprints. But where did I ever say anything about roles and blueprints and actions? Right? I said, write a post about productivity hacks for creators using an AI tool such as Chibi AI. But Chibi AI is almost definitely not something that was ever trained in the AI model. So it has no real idea of what Chibi AI is, yet this content is on point. It knows what actions are, it knows what roles are, and it knows what blueprints are. It got all of that right. So how did it do it? Well, we have a feature in Chibi called document memory. And notice at the start of this video, I told you that this was my Chibi AI canvas, and there's a reason why I call it that. That's because this space right here that you see is where I can come to create content for or about Chibi AI. And it is already pre-staged with the information that it needs to know what Chibi is. And we do that through document memory. So if I go into here, now we've got all this stuff that's kind of been added in to a sort of knowledge base. We call that feature memory. So I'm giving Chibi memory, in this case about itself, like what Chibi AI is. And so we have a product description here. It says Chibi AI is a game-changing content creation platform that seamlessly blends AI power with human creativity, and so on and so forth. But we also have a list of the Chibi AI features, and then we have each feature even has its own description here. So this thing talked about actions, right? So we go up here to actions, and it's a custom sequence of step-by-step tasks that users can create to streamline their content creation workflow. And it has just a nice little description of what actions are. Same thing for roles and same thing for blueprints. And so we have all of this information in here. The document memory is turned on, and each of these fields is enabled. You can disable these fields if I maybe didn't want chat to be a part of the memory at the time when I'm writing. I can turn that off. And this is where I can come in. So now that I have all this memory here stored in this document, now when I come over here to write content about my business, Chibi AI, I don't have to tell the AI what it is. I don't have to tell it about the features. I could even come in here and over time continue to add more memory to here, and I can adjust which fields I want to use at any given moment. Maybe I don't want to talk about actions. I can turn that off, and I have full control to write about things that are related to my business, and I know that the AI has that information at the time of writing. So it's a super powerful capability, and it's one of those things where instead of trying to have you write in the prompt every single time, could you imagine if I had to tell Ask Chibs what Chibi AI was every single time I wanted to write about it? It would get pretty annoying, right? So what I can do is I can just put that into document memory. And now every time I come over here to this Chibi AI canvas, I'm able to create content that fits my needs more appropriately. Okay, so that's the gist of what I wanted to show you in this video. But I want to take a second and step back just a little bit and say that how would you improve this process for you? I know a lot of content, we create a lot of content out there and we just throw it out there and just hope that you make the connection, right? That you understand what's going on here. So on a high level, you have that role that we created. That role is meant to be, it's either you, if you're like a solopreneur or something, it's you, it's your writing style, it's your knowledge, your history. You can put whatever you need into that role so that when you are using, like in this case, Ask Cheebs, we have this role active on our document. See, it's the content catalyst, that Ask Cheebs is using this role to help guide how it's going to write. You can imagine that if you put yourself into this role, that it would be able to write like you. Now, it doesn't have to be you. It could be, like we do in this case, we turned it into a copywriter. So in a sense, it's almost like we've hired Chibi as a copywriter on our team to write for us. Now, I would definitely advise that you take the time, because you only have to do this really once, right? Once the role is created, the role can perform for you time and time again. So I recommend that you come into these instructions and you think it through. You really put into it what you want that role to perform for you, how you want it to act, how you want it to write, that maybe even provide some information and knowledge about its history, its goals, its just whatever you want that AI sort of employee, in this case a copywriter, to be for you. Put that into this role and then save it, and it becomes that reusable role that you can come back to hire time and time again to write that, in this case, the copywriter, like I said. I can come back and I can use this copywriter role to write my copy time and time again. Combine that with the fact that we're in our Chibi AI canvas here, and it has our document memory, so it knows all about Chibi, and I can continue to adjust and improve and add more memory over time to where it just really knows everything. And then if we notice that we're trying to write, it's like maybe, for instance, rework is kind of getting in the way. I don't really want to talk about rework at that time. I can come in here and turn that off so that when I'm working, this is not a part of the memory anymore at the moment that I'm working. So it's just a really, really nice way to be able to have everything kind of pre-staged to the degree where now it becomes a reusable tool. So we went through all of this, we're creating a role and we're adding memory and all this kind of stuff. But if you think about it for a second, in the future, whenever I need to write anything that's copywriting material for Chibi, I no longer have to create a role. I no longer have to add anything to the memory. All I have to do is come in the next day or next hour or whatever I need to write, and I just go over to Ask Cheebs and I ask for it, and I get the results that I want. So to round out this video, though, I do want to say that, again, we expect these tools to be used as assistance for you. So we're trying to get it to where you get as close as possible a result to what you like and what you would write, how you would write, and the types of content that you want to help grow your business or grow your audiences, or whatever the reason is that you're creating content, creating your stories. Chibi is fantastic at fictional writing too, is that now that it's there on the screen, I don't have to agree with it 100%, right? So obviously I don't want this stuff at the top because it's just kind of previewing. I don't like hashtags in my X posts. And in fact, I think the algorithms don't like hashtags in your X posts anymore either. And so now we've got this: content creators, boost your productivity with these quick hacks. Not bad, not bad. I would probably make a few adjustments here, and that's what I would expect. I'm not coming into this thinking that AI is going to generate it for me in one click, and then I can just walk off, paste it, and then have the world enjoy my content. So I will spend some time to infuse my, human touch here before publishing it. But the goal is, up until this moment, I've had a ton of help to help me reach this point. And so I hope that you find this interesting. This has been a behind the scenes look at how I might create content for X, from getting the ideas to how I stage Chibi to be prepared to help me the most, and how that it's a really great productivity hack to get stuff done, not just for X, but for anything. But in this case, it just happens to be a behind the scenes look for content for X. And if you find this interesting, please comment below. If you're seeing this on X, post a comment. I'd be glad to engage with you. I'll definitely reply to almost all comments across our content. And if you're watching this on YouTube, same thing. Please post a comment or something. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, take care.